When Joe, you asked a really great question. It's not just how to pitch, it's when to pitch is going to be super important. And let me give you the spiel that I give to everyone when it comes to pitching before you have anything really built out. And that's what I'm going to assume, Joe, you don't have anything built out because you told me you want to fundraise to actually start building the features. So when it comes to the MVP, what do you have so far? Oh, I can't hear you.
So with our
Okay.
MVP, we have a product. Was I lagging a little bit?
Yeah,
Okay. Do I sound better now?
great.
Okay, cool. So essentially what we have built so far is we have a platform that can host merchandise, that can all of our most of our discovery features are built out. Our profile pages are built out, that functions as the brand store. Our entire sign up user flow is built out. We want to fundraise to develop our e-commerce API, and to do research and development on what discovery, like social media features on the platform, are working, in addition to creating the portal where people can sign up for design services for 2D fashion apparel designs and 3D NFT wearable avatar designs.
Okay. So let's break down the funding cycle. And this way you'll figure out when you're going to pitch and how you're going to pitch. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lay out, and you can always book office hours with Elliot to talk about the different types of funding and options. But let me just lay out. So what you have is you kind of have your pre-seed, okay? And then this is, typically what we call an FFA or FNF, friends and family. I like to call it FFF, okay? And friends, family, and fools. And I use the term fools because at this round, people tend to just invest YOLO their money and say, I really like my little cousin, or, what have you, and I'll put some money in, etc. You're not really going to get into the professional investor there. And an angel, I do a lot of foolish investments. I'll just be straightforward. And I'll just say, yeah, it sounds like a moonshot idea. I'm morbidly curious. Here's some money and go for it. Right. And then you have your seed round. And then you have your A, B, C. Okay. And you can do multiple times. And then you have whatever round you have till you're going to go for your exit. Okay. So you're going to be raising money based on the merit of what stage you are at. And a lot of people confuse the different stages, and they say, well, I'm trying to raise seed, but you're acting like you're pre-seed. You're acting and presenting your company like you're going to go for an FFA round. It doesn't mix. It's just different levels. So think of this like, whatever that movie is, Bruce Lee Game of Death or something like that, where he has to go up every level and you level up and there's a boss at every level type thing. So you've got your levels there. So what you have to understand is pre-seed, a lot of times you'll get funded based on an idea. And a lot of people will go to seed investors and they'll say, I have an idea. You should give me some money to help me build out the idea. And the seed investor's like, no, I don't do that. I need to see some type of traction or something to validate what you're doing. And everybody has an investment thesis here, right? So investment thesis. So all investors have some type of thesis that they have to fill out to warrant exploring that type of investment. So some investors have an investment thesis of, we invest in consumer product, CPG, consumer packaged goods. Some investors say we won't invest, we invest in crypto, but won't invest until we see a working MVP, et cetera. So where you are, depending on what you've built, is going to be absolutely important to understand how and when you're going to raise money. Now, this is the thing. If you want to raise friends and family rounds, they'll just invest kind of like a loan and, hey, just here's some money, go and have fun. You know, it might be a YOLO type investment. But other investors who are serious and do this for a living, or kind of like a side thing, which is what I do, they want to know how you're going to use their money, and they want to know a certain amount of, they need a certain amount of validation before they give you any money. So when do you raise money? The best time to raise is when you validated an investment thesis, or you've validated an assumption that you've had, and that lines up with the investment thesis of the investor. Okay. So if you can show certain amount, and I'm just going to be very reductive and make this very simple. The best way is to pick one traction metric and show that you can grow it, and investors will show up with money. Believe me, you ask them for advice. You know how they say, if you want to raise money, ask for advice. If you want advice, raise money, right? And you say, hey, can I just show you my traction metric and how much we're growing? We're growing 10% week over week, et cetera. And, you know, what do you think? What do you think I could do next? And they'll look at that and go, do you need some money? That, like, they'll just cut right to the chase type thing. So you want to validate some type of assumption that you have with a very clear metric that an investor can understand. So Joe, you've presented a lot of things that you're trying to do. So I'm going to stop the recording now. We're going to kind of really dive into it and get more detail. But now I'm going to grill you like I would an investor. And I'm going to ask you, what assumptions have you validated with which metrics that you are measuring?